Remind me about what?
I got the control here. Anyways, nice to see you back. Okay, we're already in open, so we're listening to minutes of the previous meeting, March 18th. Moved by Councillor Faulkner, second by Councillor Elliott. The minutes of the March 18th, 2014 council meeting be approved as circulated. All in favor? This side is, are you in favor over here on this side?
Well, I'm in
Oh, yeah, okay.
I had my hand up.
Sorry, I didn't see you
This
guys.
is April Fool's too, my friends. So
I
be
know,
careful.
it's not after lunch.
You do have to look inside your
I do,
glasses
I do.
sometimes.
I will.
I got fooled, I forgot about it.
Additional items disclosed as other business. I've got one.
Mayor Bridge, there is a report from the Launch at Minto coordinator
Oh, yes.
that was circulated to you by email,
Mhm.
and we do need a resolution on that one. That would be item 6B,
6B.
and that relates to the lease that's also on as a bylaw.
Right. Okay. You have one?
I have at least one.
Ron? Very good.
I could have a couple depending on
How
how
it
the
goes.
meeting goes.
All right, well, let's keep it open, okay? Let's keep that open. Okay. And I guess at this point in time, I'd just like to take some time to talk about we have a banner up, or it's a flag, and it's to represent the World Autism Awareness Day. And I've got a little proclamation I'm gonna read out. And so I, George Bridge, Town of Minto, hereby proclaim, whereas World Autism Awareness Day will be recognized on April 2nd, 2014 in Canada, thanks to Liberal Senator Jim Munson's Bill S-206, an act respecting World Autism Awareness Day. Whereas autism spectrum disorder affects more than 100,000 Ontarians, autism spectrum disorder is now recognized as the most common neurological disorder affecting 1 in every 94 children, as well as their friends, family, and community. And whereas ASD is a spectrum disorder, which means it not only manifests itself differently in every individual to whom it appears, but its characteristics will change over life of each individual as well. A child with ASD will become an adult with ASD, and whereas Autism Ontario, formerly Autism Society Ontario, is the leading source of information referral on autism and one of the largest collective voices representing the autism community. Since 1973, Autism Ontario has been providing support, information, and opportunities for thousands of families across the province. And whereas Autism Ontario is dedicated to increasing public awareness about autism and the day-to-day issues faced by individuals with autism and their families and professionals with whom they interact. The association and its chapters share common goals of providing information, education, supporting research, and advocating for the programs and services for autism community. And therefore, I, George Bridge, do hereby declare April 2nd as World Autism Awareness Day. And I know myself, I spent a few years at Midwestern. Autism was one of the major things trying to, very tough disease, and as I say, it affects a lot of people, and they've done some good work, and hopefully they continue on that path. Any other comments anybody wants to make? Okay.
Good job.
And next we have, oh, there we go. Oh, this is the B one. This is what you have in front of you. Councillor Hemley and Councillor Faulkner. The Council of Town of Minto receives April 1st, 2014 report from Business Development Coordinator regarding the Incubator 3 lease agreement and considers passing a bylaw authorizing the mayor and clerk to sign the lease with 2323004 Ontario Inc. in open session. I said, were you going to talk to us? Or?
Mayor Bridge, if staff wish to come up, or if there's questions of council, we can do it now or later when the bylaw comes forward.
Do you want to do it now, guys? You have your lighter up. Okay.
Just read or? On March 18th, 2014, the March 7th Minto Creative Incubator Board meeting minutes were brought forward to council. At that time, the board approved entering negotiations with the landlord concerning the leasing of Unit 3 at 1 Elora Street North in Harriston. These negotiations are now complete and the lease agreement has been created. Negotiations resulted in an agreement of $600 per month for the first year, $650 for the second year, and $700 for the third year, plus hydro. An agreement has been reached with Innovative Print to rent the approximate 500 square feet for $500 per month, plus a share of hydro and internet costs. An agreement has also been made with Joe McLaughlin of McLaughlin Financial to rent one office for $250 per month, plus a share in hydro and internet costs. The terms of this lease have been created to ensure that there are no net costs to the town of Minto, and therefore there are no financial implications to approving this agreement.
Okay.
I just have a comment. I guess later in the meeting, we're going to be passing the bylaw about the leasing of this unit. And there is a clause in there about subletting that we have to make the leasee aware of that. I'm assuming we've done that. That's okay.
Yes.
I may-
Go ahead.
If I may, Mayor Bridge, I have spoken to him previously with the other lease, and he's fully aware that we intend to sublet to people, so.
Sure.
That was in the discussion, I believe, this time
Yeah.
around as well.
That's
Is
right.
that in writing, though?
It is in the first lease, for sure,
Mhm.
that we intend to do that, so is it not in this one?
Well, it just says we have to make him aware of what our plans are if we're going to be subletting, and that's my question, that we've
Yeah.
notified him so that we're not,
That's right.
the lease isn't going to be broken.
Yes, we have, the first version of the lease for the first unit back last fall did not allow us to sublet.
Right.
And
picked
council
up on
directed
that.
that we change that, and we did in the first lease, and now it's just a notification thing, so and he is well aware. I believe the chair has spoken to him.
That's right, yeah. And we've kind of rejigged the budget to have like no net cost, and that's the idea. So some of the leasing payments are going to be used to do some building renos, and then the incubator's going to have a private meeting room, boardroom, and that too, and then access to the photocopier services. So it'll still come out eventually to the same result as the original budget. So we're going to have double the space for roughly the same cost to the town.
But we will make sure that,
And it should be mentioned too that there is another unit available, not unit,
That's right.
another spot available for another tenant.
Actually, potentially two.
Two more?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have met with 4 different individuals regarding different renovation potentials for the Unit 3. We think that in Unit 3, we can have the space for Innovative Print, along with the private meeting room, along with 3 individual offices.
which will help us down the road with our cost for the incubator. Okay. Any other questions? I guess I had that motion, I just need to vote, we need to vote on it. All in favor? Okay, carried. Now we're going to delegations, and we have our county rep, Mark McKenzie. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Like it's already a quarter way into the year, right? Like, it's amazing how the year's going. Mark usually comes at least once a quarter. I think you've been coming, Nate?
Well, I can start by saying that we've had 6 or 7 committee cancellations.
I know, yeah,
Not
I
much to
know.
report.
It's been a rough winter,
The
hasn't it?
weather's been so bad the last 3
I
months
know.
that,
I know.
anyway, I have some news for you, and I'll start with finance. You're obviously aware of the county levy of 2.2. Department heads and council worked hard to get that down from 4.3 over the month of January, and that's what we come up with for the members. As you probably know, the OMPF funding has been slashed again this year to us in the amount of $600,000. It's almost 1%. So from the next 4 years, it's going to amount to $5.2 million, which the county will have to absorb because there's no funding for the services that we provide.
So much for our upload that
So,
they gave
yeah.
us. Then they downloaded it again.
So that's an ongoing issue all the time. Social services, the county's going to rebuild the Willowdale Child Care Center in Guelph, and there's no cost to the ratepayer because the funding comes through Best Start funding on that tore down are going to be because of, it was inadequate for the children in there. There was asbestos and it didn't meet code anymore and had to go. Accessibility.
Mark.
I'm not going, yeah.
On that very thing, what percentage is the county versus the city on that one?
Golf pays their share. I'm not sure what the percent is.
Okay.
But they, once we get going with it, they do pay off.
Is it county land?
We are going to buy that from the county,
From the city.
or city, sorry. Going to buy that from Guelph and run it ourselves, run it, be a county run.
Yeah.
Oh,
facility.
wow, okay.
What happens too, Ron, is, as Mark said in his, comments there, the money comes from,
The best start.
Best Start, which is Ontario government program, so the capital comes from there. So we run the social service part of it, and so it's a percentage based on what, you know, and that's a high need in
Yeah.
Guelph, so,
Contract with them to
Yeah.
pay their operating
Yeah.
share.
yeah.
Then, just out of curiosity, I don't wanna be a pain, but why wouldn't we build that out into the county?
Because it's needed in that section. See, we run,
There's 50-some families right from the city
No,
themselves.
I realize
use it.
that. I, no, totally understand that.
it's a need thing based on, and so we support Guelph. It's really a Guelph function because
is.
but we have to run the program for Ontario government for social
Yeah.
services. So Guelph can't run that program. They can't set one of those up. So it's the same as our one at Palmerston, right?
I was gonna
They're-
say that,
they're-
the
but
county's running it now.
It's a high need area.
Boy,
And the county's
we
responsible
sure
for
need to
social
look at who
services on
signs
that.
what. Thanks. Sorry.
Accessibility, I won't dwell on that one, because there's a wording thing that I think that's been worked out. So that's a good news for funding when that comes along. OPP, Tividale is now fully operational. The date, I think there's been changed, they're gonna send us another
June 20th?
June something, yeah.
June 20th, I
Official
think.
opening.
20th or 24th?
I thought it was the 20th, but we'll get one just before that,
It'll
for
be
sure.
sent out,
Yeah.
yeah. The calls in the county last year, for service were 24,000. Minto alone was 2,500. The OPP have started, through the kids program, is expanded to include grades 7 and 8. And they're currently doing, presentations, concerning online and texting safety. Because every day we hear about what's going on there on the news with kids texting and going. And what else do I, okay, they've attained 2 new dogs now to add to the canine unit. One had passed away and they've
And we had that one problem.
still have the service, so they needed another dog for that.
They got a new cruiser too, eh, Mark?
I knew, they could have,
No, I'm just
I don't-
wondering, you're talking about the call volume. I was at work yesterday and I ran into 2 of our guys on the 401 on a multi-vehicle accident. They're coming back from London. Just picked up a new cruiser with cameras on the front and back to
Oh,
pick
yeah?
up the plates.
well,
So I don't know, is that call gonna be included in Wellington County, or like, are we gonna go after Waterloo Region for that call, or what?
if we have to respond inside, I'm not sure how they do it. What do you guys do in the fire
I
department?
don't think you'll have to worry about it.
There is a, like a little thing that they give us once a year on outside calls or whatever, that we
Yeah.
get, our people have to leave, so I don't know how they work it out, it's a formula.
Mr. Grant? Just on the OPP, Mark, are they still doing free criminal checks for volunteers? Or is that,
I'm not sure if that's still going in 2014 or not.
I don't, we just did a few
Mhm.
from our staff, I think they are.
you know, staff-wise, I think we have to pay, don't we? But
No, but I mean, any volunteers,
volunteers,
I think
it used to be
volunteers
free.
are still
on.
free, I
I
think.
think now that they moved to Thibodaux, I just wondered whether there was a change in policy.
I don't think so.
Would have been brought forward.
Well, my son just went out and
Probably
got one,
status
because he's gonna be doing a program for basketball, and he didn't say he had to pay anything, he would've told me that.
Okay, sure, that's good.
Hospital funding, we've had quite a few meetings over that. There's been a request in for some time now for the northern hospitals. It's gone back to committee for consideration, and hopefully we're voting on that at the county at this month. I haven't seen the details, but I can tell you that if it's funding that suits our policy, I'll certainly be supporting it. I can't tell you anymore because we haven't seen the recommendation yet.
Coming back to AF&P and,
County at the end of the month.
Mark,
that's right.
I know the county has given money to hospitals in the past now, right? We've given it to Fergus before, I think.
Yes.
Even a long time ago, they even gave money towards Guelph one time, but the money is limited coming up north. I don't think we've got a lot of funds coming up north at any time. Now, I understand that at the time we had a debate whether it was provincial or, it's a provincial funding that should be, but
Just,
it's not coming, that's all, that's the problem, so.
And we know that at the county,
Are
and
we-
there's gonna be a shortfall.
Are we assuming that we will get a equal share to our two hospitals up north here, or will we be?
Well, I would certainly support that.
Yes.
We haven't seen the recommendation yet, but there will be, the request is for the three hospitals, Groves, Mount Forest, and Palmerston.
And what kind of dollars were they?
9 million.
9 million.
Yeah.
there was a breakdown, original breakdown, it was 5 million for Groves, 2.5 for both the northern hospitals. That was the breakdown in the 9 million, but Ron, to answer your question, that was sort of loosely given to us at that point, and now it's coming to committee, so they're gonna have to come up with where, we know that Mount Forest is in a building situation right now with, they were given money from the government for their emergency room.
Is it, they get more money in Fergus because there's more,
Well, it's a full new hospital, and this request came from, the three hospitals work together.
okay,
And it came from,
so it's their breakdown.
it's their breakdown, not ours. And, I'm not sure that's how it's gonna end up, but, that's sort of what they've asked for. And that's a $5 million additional, because there's already $5 million already sitting in reserve for Groves already. But that Groves Hospital is almost a $60 million build, right? And they have to do about $35 million fundraising, or maybe 40 to put everything in it, so. And I believe Mount Forest the money they have to put into is $5 million. They have to find locally or raise money, and it's.
So we have a possible build in Palmerston too, correct?
That's right. There is plans for another
That's before
additional.
the provincial government right now.
Now, Terry, I don't know, you might have better handle on that than me, but you're on the hospital board, what the initial hospital cost is.
Well, like you said, these monies go towards equipping the buildings.
Yeah.
The province builds the buildings,
Yeah.
but they don't equip them. So we as municipalities have to generate the funds to equip them. I know we're trying desperately to get our Minto Rural Health Center off the ground, and it's stalled at Toronto or Queen's Park somewhere, and I'm not sure whether any of this funding would be going towards that or not. I have my doubts.
No.
I think it's going to go to the expansion or the redevelopment of the hospital. They've got some plans that they wanted to make some changes there too. But, I would hope that we in the north would get our fair share, but I guess that the county's going to determine that.
That'd be great.
I think,
Would it help if we made a recommendation to this council that they support our two hospitals up in the north?
well, I think,
I think that's why we have the mayor and county councilor
Well,
Mackenzie there.
I'm just saying, would it help them to have sometimes you send that recommendation from council, it does help.
I kind of feel I know what this council feels, but yeah,
Yeah, well, I know, and
But-
I'm certainly saying.
No,
you
no,
know,
and-
I just, sometimes that gives you a little more weight behind what you're
yeah,
saying.
I guess I'll mention to Mark, and Mark and I were both there for the initial debate, Mark, eh? And it was pretty well 14-2 that we're gonna go forward with looking at this anyways. I think there's support
Okay.
for,
If
If
it
needed,
goes
we-
sideways, we could come back to this council for
For
it,
sure,
so-
I guess, and Deputy Mayor Fisk mentioned it, for some reason, and I said it when we had the debate at the county level, I said, I support the fact that we should be doing something at a county level. We certainly can't afford much from a township level, and I think that came out a couple times, a couple of speakers talked about that for these hospitals. I kind of don't like the fact that it's coming from us when you think that we pay good tax dollars into the province and the feds to look after hospital funding. But as Deputy Mayor Fisk said, there's sort of a feeling out there that if you don't throw 10% towards it, then they'll look to somebody else who wants to support their community's 10%. So they've kind of put us in a box and against the wall, and I think that, I think that's what the county's looking at, and I feel confident the county's going to come in with, and help us with this. Because they know at a lower tier level, we don't have the funds available.
Okay.
So, I don't know, I'm speaking for Mark, but Mark can speak for himself on that, but I think I would definitely support us trying to get some of that money up here and going at the county level.
I just want to comment, I thank Mark for his comment that was in the Wellington Advertiser in regards to this issue. And you mentioned that the fact that if our small rural hospitals aren't supported in this way, that they will talk of closing them. And that we need to continue to support them in order to make
Yeah.
sure that they maintain opening. And I appreciate you saying that, Mark, because I think that's how everyone in this
I
council
think, I
feels.
couldn't remember what Mark said at the debate, but I knew there was something in there that you had mentioned too. Okay.
Just some stat, I'll give you a quick stat on that. Our hospital over here last year,
Yeah.
16,600 people through outpatients, and 9,500 people were overnight or emergence, or patients in that hospital. It's, the service we provide reaches out not only to Minto, but
Yeah, there's some interesting,
some of the opposition to this in their initial talks. I looked up their stats, and we had actually had 500 people from their municipality
yeah,
that were serviced at our,
yeah.
so I'm looking forward to the vote.
I am too. But anyways,
Okay, library. The public information meeting is set for May the 3rd at the Palmerston Library at 10:30. So I hope, if you can, attend that, or get some public interest in what to do with the upper level there. The circulation, last year in the county 14 library system was over 1 million books and materials. 62,000 computer users and 39,000 attended the programs that we offered. In Minto, Palmerston did 31,000, Hairston was 46,000, and Clifford 18,000. So they're busy libraries. There was a Toronto study submitted to our board, and I know it's Toronto versus Minto, but for every dollar they invested down there, there was a realization of $5 through economic development. So even here, if somebody goes to the library, there's usually a spin-off for economics in our municipalities. Anyway, we're working to get that renovated next year, starting. Federation of Canadian Municipalities, our rep, Mayor Rossouillet, is on the board there and attends all those meetings. There is some concern with the Canada Post proposal with rural mail delivery, and when it comes to that, I know that Minto will have their
Yeah.
say too.
for sure.
And if you haven't already, the county is going to request a report on the gas funding uses. I don't know if that's been sent out yet, but it was mentioned at county last.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, I'd have to talk to Gordon on it.
So they'll give you the criteria for that.
Yeah.
And there's some graphics there on how our money is spent, how your money is spent.
I think what they're hoping to do at that is have somebody, I think the MPs there, for us to do a little presentation in each community as to what we spent our gas tax money on in the last little while. So it's just a little good news thing
Yep.
to help the MPs realize that to keep that funding for us and keep
For
going
sure.
on it. Yeah.
And that's the end of my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any questions for
Good job, Mark.
Mark?
Thanks.
Deputy Mayor
It's
Fisk?
not so much a question or a comment. I'm just wondering, with respect to gas tax, we still don't get the provincial portion of our gas tax. And does the county have any, are they able to apply any pressure in that area, or is there any?
Other than I know we've had delegations and we've sent things the same as we have and talked to AMO about it, and our reps on AMO and Roma. I know Chris has talked about it a lot as being head of Roma and also in his dealings with the province. I think everybody there knows, you know, we're looking for something. There might be something coming, we don't know, and I guess I won't get into it because we just had this last announcement on federal funding, and it's a bit vague yet as to how it's all gonna come down, but there might be a bit of a sustainable funding criteria there, but we're not sure about it yet, are we, Gord? And we're not gonna mention it, okay, because it's a little up in the air, but I totally agree, and I know the county has gone to bat for that, because we don't have any public transit either, so we really don't get a lot of gas tax money either. for infrastructure. From the province, we don't get anything either, I wouldn't think.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Wonderful.
You know, Pat. Hi, Pat, come on, welcome. Has it been a year since we had you here last?
Yeah. It's hard to tell, we've been in winter ever since.
I know, isn't it wild, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've doing a lot of new things there, I see you're busy.
Yeah, we have renovated in the basement,
Mhm.
tore out the basement floor because it was all dry rot. And we had some of the K-40 guys come in and help us put in a subfloor, and then we put down some laminate hardwood, so.
Good.
I've got blood,
see you were
sweat, and
working.
tears in it because I almost took this finger off tearing out the subfloor, so.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. This job has caused me a lot of pain through the years, but it's brought me a lot of joy too, so. I have been working with youth, as you know, for a long time, 22 years, and I've been a Minto in May, 14 years. We started our first youth center downtown, Laura Street, and we've, changed our face and the way we do things a little bit here or there to accommodate youth and the culture that they are growing up in, and that culture changes probably every 6 months in a lot of ways. They're driven today a lot by the media, and so we use a lot of media to reach out to young people and to build a relationship with them and help them through this journey of teenage years, because it's a very difficult time. And I would just share a short story with you today, because I think it is the reason I do what I do, and one of the reasons is because I have no other skills, but the reason I do what I do is to help young people, and we've worked with hundreds of young people since we've come here. I would say maybe even into the thousands. We've had peak seasons that we were working with, 100 a month at one time, but it comes down to the individual, because we're all important. And a month ago, a young person came into the youth center, and it was on a stormy night, but I found out that the reason most of the other young people were not there, probably all of them, they were at a birthday party of one of the young people from the center. And it just happened to be this kid's birthday as well, and he was left out. And he has some mental health issues, as a good percentage of young people that we work with today. They come in with all kinds of different things, autism, schizophrenia, bipolar, and this young person has something as well. But his personality, he's a great kid, and I love working with him, and he was all alone. And a lot of times when it's just one kid for half an hour to an hour, we got 2 volunteers in there, myself, and sometimes we'll close early. I found out it was his birthday, and we just loved on him, and had some food and some drink, played pool and video games, and we do this thing called Tour for Teens every year, and we raised $25,000 last year in our fundraiser, and we have jerseys that are worth $100, and I had a few left over, and I was able to find one that was his size, and he just keeps talking about that jersey. We just loved on this young kid, and what is a life worth, really? What is giving love to a young person worth? Pouring hope into them, helping them find their potential, helping them through these difficult years, because being a teenager today is nothing like it was when we grew up. The pressures are much greater, much more difficult. And I walked away from that night knowing that we're making a difference in a life and in lives of young people. And as I shared with you in my letter, we're just looking for the same thing that you guys have done for us for the last 13 years. It's been about $1,000 in cash donation and facility rental, I think a $500 fee for that as well. So I would just open it up to any questions that you might have. I don't want to keep you too long with what I'm doing here. You guys have more important things to talk about.
What's the life worth? No, we got all kinds of time for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Relax.
That's right. All kinds of time.
I just, go ahead.
I was just gonna thank Mr. Savage very much for all the work he does do for the youth in our area, and we do appreciate it, and thanks again for your 13 years.
I was just gonna add to that, go ahead.
Just wanna, personally, we're involved a bit through Lions Club with Pat.
Mhm.
Every week he uses our facility, mostly every week when he doesn't cut his finger off. And he's got their kids lined up waiting to get in, so it's important to them. And then he said to them, they're getting a little bored, so he moved in another direction. He's gonna use our theater to show some movies to them and stuff, so Pat, you listen to what they have to say, and it's good to see them line up. And when I walk by and you're not there, they're asking where you're coming or not. I say, yeah, you So they look forward to it, and I certainly appreciate, and I certainly see what you do.
I guess what I'd say for the council, I know we're totally in agreement on this, Pat. It's great to have people like yourself in the community that want to take that time and effort, because it is tough. And I've worked with kids as well and over the years, and the rewards are great when you see something like you just talked about, when that person takes that and says, you know, that was a night that could have been really disastrous for them. Because if you're in a situation where you have some mental concerns, you get depressed very quickly if you're in a one-on-one. And so you turn that night around for them, and they'll love you for that forever and show some of that respect. So this is a small pittance we give you, and what we can do is, it's great to hear that they're maybe used in Oregon and other facilities as well. Where we can help, let us know. And I know I feel very comfortable about this. So, every year you come for a small amount of money, but certainly put a lot of effort back into it. Thanks very much.
So basically, Paz, what he's saying, next year, ask for more money.
Well, you just gotta look at Gord over there. He's got the dollars.
I tried to shake more money out of his pocket, it's hard.
It's hard. He's tight. He's tight. Thanks, Pat.
2,500.
Okay. Public question periods. Anybody got a public question? Nope. Correspondence received for information requiring direction of council. Oh, I should have done this one before. Moved by Councillor Caldwell, second by Councillor Henry. The town council convenes in the committee of the whole. Are we up there now?
Let's get it on.
Well, I don't know. That's one.
Start over.
That's one. We have to start over. Everybody get back up.
Do you want to vote on that one?
Yeah, everybody in favor of that one? You got that one, eh? Please? Yeah. Okay, now we're.
Yes.
Now, Mayor Bridge, we're at correspondence.
Yeah,
There is one
it was moved.
piece of correspondence that Councillor Turton actually asked
Yes.
to be brought forward, and that is the Niagara Region 1. Relates to hydro, the long-term energy plan. And I think he would like council to support that. We would need someone to move support for that correspondence. That came out of Niagara Region.
I'd be willing to make that motion.
Okay, seconder? All in favor? Yeah, I don't even want to start on that. But, that's good. Is that all you need?
And then the balance of the correspondence, Mayor Bridge, if we had a motion to receive it, unless there's items that you wish to pull for next meeting.
Anybody got any items? Motion to receive? Councillor Elliott, Councillor Faulkner, all in favor? Okay. Lakeland Valley, we have 2 sets of minutes. Did you, anything you wanted to talk to Terry's here, and? Yes,
Yeah.
Councillor Faulkner?
Went through both minutes, and I'm kind of impressed with the direction that Maitland Valley is going with the limited resources that they have. What concerns me is that rivers, streams, water quality, flood control, all these things, even though I think we've done a really decent job on flood control in this area, I think we have. I'm concerned that it's not getting the same level of credibility at the provincial and federal levels, that it should be getting. This should be, Maitland Valley Conservation should be better funded by the province. And I realize they have the same fiscal issues as everybody else, but this is something we can't turn our backs on. Where's the direction this is heading? And what can we do about it?
Well,
Hey, go ahead.
I think the upper levels of government, it's very easy for them to cut in this area because they don't feel they're affecting too many people and it's the future, and you don't see any, there's no faces to show that this is, we're doing this much good and we're improving everybody's lifestyle, so. Phil Beard, the Secretary, Treasurer, General Manager, almost every meeting reminds us that the Maitland Valley Conservation funding from the government, the provincial government, is at 1995 levels, I believe. And, of course, you know what's happened since 1995, just with inflation alone, so it's serious. I mean, if we don't start doing something about climate change and these extreme weather situations, we're in big trouble, and they're not going to go away. So we need to plan for them, and we need to do what we can with respect to the environment and the rivers and the streams. And we as a municipality here are trying to take a bit of a lead in that area. We've got this committee set up now with trees for Minto Farms. The last meeting, we approved a minor donation. I guess we're all hopefully going to pitch in and do our little bit with respect to mileage and the fuels that are used by our municipality to help plant more trees. Planting more trees and wetlands and areas for the water to go when and if we have these major major storms are the key to the solving the problem or reducing the potential damage of the problem.
How do we get a better message to the provincial
I don't know.
government that they need to
I don't know.
pay more attention to this area?
I don't know. It's a big problem. We have Conservation Ontario as supposedly our spokesperson for the conservation authorities to the provincial government. I also sit on the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, and the chairman there feels it's a waste of time. We pay fees, $20-some thousand. We send it to them, and we're not seeing much of a return for our investment. So they're supposed to be the next step, and they're supposed to take our concerns and hopefully put pressure on, but it's not happening, unfortunately. So, but I will tell you that it's being noticed what this town is doing with respect to this. We passed, like I said, the 1 cent per kilometer, and at our Maitland Valley Conservation meeting, I made it known to the board that we were doing that. And after the board meeting, I had the representative from Central here and asked me to have the material sent to them, and CEO White sent it, and she's hoping that she can convince her council to do the same thing. And I think we're going to see other councils jump on board and do likewise. And you know, we have to, if it's not going to happen at the top, then it has to start at the bottom, and hopefully we can build from there. But it's very, very important. Like I feel that those two committees are probably that I sit on are as important as any that we are part of, and not everybody realizes how serious the problem is, and unfortunately it's going to take a major event for this area to realize it, and hopefully we're prepared for it.
And you know, we have put in our budget this year some monies to do some flood planning and
Mapping, we've got to do.
we'll try to do with, and again, it's unfortunate because that would be an ideal thing for Maitland to do, but they don't have that kind of
No.
funding. But we are looking at it from a proactive stance that we do in this town, and are looking at that. But having Maitland be on board with us, from Steve being there, and so
That's not the area I'm concerned
yeah.
about. I'm concerned the province is not listening.
Well, I understand that, and I think, Ron, maybe that's something that we can look at. Maybe that's a delegation for the next AMO. We can maybe look at something.
We sure have to look at it.
But I feel for Terry, you guys to go through, is the fact that even the organization we seem to have that are supposed to be our spokesman at that level doesn't seem to have much of a voice. So, you know, how do we get there? I don't know. Maybe it's AMO or other groups that work on it. But
Just while we're on the subject, if I may, at the last meeting, it was brought to my attention that Grand River Conservation Authority has donated $4,000 towards
Yes.
our trees
Trees
for
for
Minto
Minto, yeah.
Farms.
Mhm.
And the Wellington Stewardship Council, which is disbanding, I understand, when they have some funds left, they're donating an additional $3,000 for our project. So there we've got $7,000 without even asking for it. It just came our way. And, you know, I think if we start asking, and we can involve citizens, we can involve industry, we can involve everybody in our community. They should all be pitching in, and if everybody did a little bit, it wouldn't be long and we'd have the project accomplished. So we're heading in the right direction. It's not moving fast enough to suit me, but that's okay. We're at least moving in the right direction.
Exactly. Is there any other questions on the minutes? Motion to accept. Counselor Caldwell, Counselor Hamley, I want to get him in here. All in favor?
So we can
There
prove
you
you.
Prove he was here, no.
Guess I got another cord to get.
Anyways, okay. And next we have economic development, well, I guess the municipal economic development minutes. Anybody, any questions on them? I have them, I can answer them maybe. If not, I got all kinds of help here.
Well, I noticed I've been away for a little while. You've got two girls here to replace me, so.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm glad I'm back.
Yeah. Okay, come on up. We approved those two? Did we approve those all together?
Did the first two, Mayor
Okay,
Bridge,
we
not?
better, okay, the county minutes? Councilor Elliott, Councilor Faulkner, all in favor? Okay, good. Okay, now we're, okay. And welcome.
Hello.
Is this your last
Last minute.
county, or?
It will
council
be,
meeting?
it will be, yes.
Okay, you sure?
Yep.
Nice to
Yep.
have you here, man.
So these are the minutes from March 13th from the Economic Development and Planning Committee. I do have two corrections to make. I did not include Terry Kuipers, Chief Building Official, or Brian Hanson, Public Works Director, so I need to add them to members that were present, so I will do that. A delegation of concerned Palmerston business owners was brought forward some concerns regarding the Tim Hortons and Gas Bar developments in the Palmerston Industrial Park. They included zoning, fair market value, labor force, and downtown revitalization. Members of the Economic Development Committee addressed these concerns. Around 2005 or so, the front lands of the Palmerston Industrial Park were rezoned to permit highway commercial uses along County Road 123 and general industrial uses behind, subject to a holding provision. The land that was sold to Tim Hortons and the Gas Bar had been for sale for almost 8 years with little to no interest. The minimum distance separation greatly limits the possible uses of these properties in terms of placement of the buildings. It has never been the intention of the town of Minto to realize the gain on the sale of industrial land. By bringing new employment to the area, it is the town's hope that the labor force will expand. The town of Minto's original Community Improvement Plan, CIP, was created in June 2009 and will be updated in 2014. The CIP will investigate many initiatives, including expanding urban boundaries, enhancing funding, amending property standards bylaws to enhance standard maintenance, particularly at streetscape level, financial incentives such as building permit and development charge rebates, structural improvements, affordable housing, land banking, etc. A motion was made that Mayor Bridge send a letter to the concerned Palmerston business owners, thanking them for their delegation to the Economic Development Planning Committee. Paul Ziegler of Triton Engineering updated the committee on the Big Dig project in Harriston. The proposed timeline for the Big Dig from Arthur Street to the bridge, it would be in two sections, so from Arthur Street to the bridge is 2 weeks for setup of a temporary water main, 6 weeks for road construction, and 2 weeks for inclement weather. From the bridge to Yonge Street, the projected timeline is 4 weeks for road construction and 2 weeks for inclement weather. In order to maintain business access, street plates would be placed across the road and sidewalks, and a full-time site inspector will be available at all times in order to accommodate trucks and deliveries and in order to coordinate with contractors. It was suggested that the best way to do the Big Dig is in sections, closing the entire road with the possibility of having it open on weekends. And the public open house will be held on Wednesday, May 14th at the Harriston Auditorium at 6:30 p.m. So mark your calendars for that. Bill White explained that a report on the community improvement plan was presented at the March 4th, 2014 council meeting, and the main committees that will work on updating the 2009, May 14th, plan will be the Economic Development and Planning Committee and the Downtown Revitalization Committees. We then reviewed the Harriston Downtown Revitalization minutes from March 3rd and the Palmerston Downtown Revitalization minutes from March 5th. Mayor Bridge and Hope Robertson gave an update on the Minto Creative Industry Incubator. Launch at Minto is the new name for the Minto Creative Industry Incubator. Kimball Printing was sold to Calvin Frey on March 5th of Millbank, and it will now be called Innovative Print. Mayor Bridge reported on the Business Retention and Expansion Project. There will be an end of project celebration this Friday, April 4th, at the Wellington County Museum and Archives building in Elora from 2 to 4 p.m. And the Economic Development and Planning Committee is invited to attend, as well as council. If anyone is interested in attending, just let me know and I can RSVP to Yana.
You might even want to do some going down together or whatever.
This Saturday, or this Sunday.
This Friday.
This Friday.
4th.
Yeah.
It'd be a good opportunity too, because a lot of your businesses that were probably, hopefully, will be there from the business retention, so you have a chance to talk to them.
And very exciting, Mayor Bridge reported that the County of Wellington has been selected as one of 3 study regions in the province to look at cost-shared rural transportation systems. This study is concerned with the movement of people, not goods, to and from their homes and medical services, recreational programs, places of employment, community events, and civic functions. The project is led by the Rural Ontario Institute, with partners that include Ontario Good Roads Association and the Ontario Healthy Communities Coalition. Dillon Consultant is the lead on this project, and to comply with the Trillium grant received by the Rural Ontario Institute, the initiative will be completed by June 2014 and will involve public input. And briefly, the Mayor's Breakfast is going to be held next Thursday, April 10th, from 7:30 to 9 a.m. at Pike Lake Golf Center in the restaurant. Breakfast is $10 per person, and anyone wishing to register needs to register by this Friday. So if you haven't done so already, we are looking for registrations for that. Okay. And the Cultural Roundtable minutes of March 24th. So Gordon Duff reviewed the community garden minutes of December 10th and January 15th. James Graham, president of the Ontario Horticultural Society, gave a presentation speaking about the benefits of community gardens, local food source, a sense of community, the emotional, physical, and mental benefits, and the relationships created through mentoring. Crucial ideas for success include a consistent leader or steward, the encouragement of natural fertilization, and the establishment of community with a potluck harvest celebration. The town will support the community gardens through providing the site and applying for funding, as well as providing administration in regards to the creation of policies and procedures. And the community gardens at this moment is reporting to the Cultural Roundtable. The Community Environmental Leadership Program, CELP, at Norwell District Secondary School is going to be helping in preparing the beds as well. It says in March or April, but hopefully the snow keeps melting so that we can actually prepare those beds. And the committee reviewed the terms of reference, policies and procedures, and plot rental contract. And they're looking at having a storage area on site to allow for tools to be placed in a protected area away from the elements and out of sight to deter theft and vandalism. Sources of funding that we have applied for are the Walmart Evergreen Green Grants and the 2014 Scots Canada Grow 1000 Grassroots Grants, Communities in Blooms. Taylor Pridham has been hired as a summer student, the tourism and culture assistant, and she will be helping to plan the Concerts in the Parks summer series and culture days, as well as maintain the Town of Minto website and social media, and assist with the Mayor's Charity Golf Tournament and Minto Farmers Markets. And Councillor Elliott is finalizing plans for the Party in the Park event that will be taking place on Saturday, June 7th. Jamie Warren will be helping to organize and book entertainment, as well as be the MC for the day. The Cultural Roundtable will help with promoting this event. Mayor Bridge and Taylor Pridham will be meeting in April to organize the Concerts in the Park summer series. And the series will see 2 concerts hosted in each of the communities with a grassroots community feel. Andrew Gowan reported that the Treasures Minto website will receive an update, including becoming mobile responsive, and it will have the ability to mark trails on the maps, and he will present that at our next meeting. We discussed the need to get more committee members. Trish McQueen expressed interest in joining the Cultural Roundtable, and Nicola McEwen will write a story for the Rural Route magazine about the initiatives that have been completed to date, and will add that we are looking for members. Councillor Caldwell reported that the Harriston Legion held their annual mini golf where 130 participants came out to play. Many participants were young families, teens, and individuals in their early 20s. And Gordon Duff reported that the next film for the Big Film Fest is on April 21st at 7:15 p.m. featuring Like Father, Like Son.
Any questions for Mandy? That's a big report. For a last report, that was a
Lots.
Terry?
Just, I'm not sure who to address it to, but it's with respect to temporary location of the library. Do we need 2 sites, or is it one or the other, or it talks about the OPP building, and then a temporary, or a downtown existing building?
Well, it was discussed a little bit about the OPP building, but it'll be gone. So the other idea would be to, and they've done it, and Mark, you may be on this, but they did it in Fergus where they took a downtown storefront and put the library in there. And we certainly have a couple storefronts in Palmerston we might be able to use. So as we go forward on that, it'd be one of the things we could bring up at the community meeting or whatever, but it'd be nice to look at one of those storefronts that we could use. Yeah. Be on the list to do, I think, and. Right. Yeah. I know, well, we used the train station when Harrison was done, so. But that would be something we thought, that came up in the downtown revite, and it was a thought that maybe we could approach some people on that, yeah.
And the other thing, it's not part of this report, but you were talking about the transportation and the study by the Rural Ontario Institute. Huey Thompson and I met with Michelle Martin, who's with VON in Mount Forest, on March the 26th, and at that meeting she informed us that there is a van coming to this area that will be able to handle wheelchairs. So hopefully, and it will be used in our municipality as well. So
Good.
that's hopefully going to be part of the solution to our problem.
That was one of the concerns we have. And I don't know, that to be honest with you, I haven't got any more information on that study yet. I'll get some shortly, I'm sure. But I'll look into it, whether we're gonna be part of it or not. Like, I think that was the idea, it's gonna be right across Wellington. So that'll be one of the things, but we did talk about that, about the VON having it possible. That's good that you followed up on that, because, yes.
Mayor Bridge, the consultant for that study in the county has been in touch with us.
Oh, good, okay.
So
I wasn't
we
sure.
have supplied information, including Mr. Thompson's name, so they will be
Perfect.
contacting people further. So we are part of it, and they have already started their work.
Excellent. Okay, anything else? Thanks, Mandy.
Thanks.
And all the best.
Motion to accept. Councilor Hemley, Councilor Elliott, all in favor? Great. Okay. All right.
We'll bring that up, Rick. Don't bring it up.
Staff reports, and I guess you want to speak to this one, Bill?
Well, Mayor Bridge, we have the report from Mark Van Patter on the Pike Lake official plan amendment, and there is a draft resolution, which is on the back of the map, is the draft amendment. So Mr. Fulcher is here as well. I suppose if there's any questions of the developer, but basically I think the county planner has worked with the provincial staff, and they're satisfied moving forward with the amendment, and if council's supportive, we can deal with that motion or some other motion that you may want to make. But
Maybe ask for any questions on it first. I'm quite happy that we're going to go forward with this and deal with it as we see, so.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Counselor Faulkner, do you want me to read the resolution, or you got it?
Right there, so.
Okay, so, seconded by Counselor Elliott, all in favor? Okay, good. Sorry, Bruce, you came for nothing. All right, okay, so that's good.